yes, it's September 10th through September 24th, Navajo Nation, units 1 through 5 and 12.
Now, that's northwestern. That's the northwestern part of the state.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And like I said, it goes parts of those units go from New Mexico to Arizona. So it's like right there on that, like the northwestern border of New Mexico and the northeastern border of Arizona. Those two, it goes right there. And then part like the southeast corner of Utah a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit.
Okay. Is it guided? Or
That's what I want to talk with you about and get your opinion on. So it's, a hunt like this, what we looked it up as like a 6% or 4% lifetime odds of getting drawn or whatever it says. Something unbelievable. Like I'm so fortunate and blessed.
You should have money in the lottery.
I think I used up all my luck on that. But yes, I'm wanting to. I want to use a guide. So I want to better. I want to have the best odds that I can. Better my odds the best that I can. And so I don't know most of the elk hunting that. Matter of fact, all the elk hunting I've done has been unsuccessful. We've seen some elk, but that's been in Colorado with over the counter stuff and. No success, no luck there. Had a great time, but the only elk hunting that I really know is going to be stuck hearing about it from you. And so I want to go with somebody. Speaking of that, if you're free September 10th through the 24th, and you want to go to the Navajo Nation, you come on with me.
Well, I bought a landowner's tag in New Mexico, so I'm pretty well set.
You're good.
I've got a real good place to go to, and this tag thing is virtually out of hand. There's a lot of oil people in West Texas that are hitting on New Mexico pretty hard, and the price is going up. And if you don't draw it, then your next opportunity is a landowner's tag. So I've been out there enough that I know some landowners and I know good pieces of ground, and get to know the people, then you can kind of line up a tag if you don't draw, in which you're not going to draw, probably 6% chance. So that's what I've done this year.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it. I've been hunting them 57 years. I've been out west and hunted elk. I've guided for Limestone Outfitters. That got to be too long for me to be out there. I would try to guide and then stay over for my hunt, and I was just out there too long. So I quit doing that. I actually stayed long enough doing it that I could have become a guide myself. It's a 3-year program to become a guide. You have to guide for an outfitter, and then you can get a license for it. But I took the test to become an outfitter and could have done that. But I live in Louisiana, and the only problem with doing all that is after that archery rut, what are you going to do out there? I want to be having a jig pole in my hand and in the spring of the year and catching big crappie or bass, So,
which
anyway,
you had some big success. You had some luck and when I say luck, you had some success with that. I know you're at several different lakes around here, live scoping. Michael told me the one you went, I don't know if it was a wacky rig or something you threw out there, messing with the settings on your live scope, went to pick it back up.
Yeah, I was in Caney one day, and I hadn't been to Caney in a while, and it's a spawn, so I'm going to go play with perspective. I hadn't played with that very much, so I get out there and turn into Smith Creek, and the first little pocket on the left, I said, well, that's off of this deep water. There's probably some spawning in here, so I want to see if I can find some beds. So I got my rod laying there with a wacky rig on it, and I'm up in there, and I'm trying to get those settings right. So I just pick it up and throw it out there. And I'm sitting there messing with it, and so I finally remember to pick the rod up and take the slack out, and my line's just doing a run off out there. I set the hook, and this fish starts pulling drag on me. And I have a picture of it on my phone. It's over 10 pounds.
Wow.
And so that's my first cast, which is bad. That's bad luck.
That's about like killing a big 350-inch bull the first morning, the first hour.
You know, thinking about what you've got going there in the northern part of New Mexico, Utah, it sounds like to me you're in a big area. And you've got to whittle that down some way. You've got to narrow that down. So there should be in that reservation some key people that you can talk to and try to get a key area. And there's people that's taking care of those animals, and they're probably running cattle, and there's probably a Forest Service person there that you can talk to. And I would just do some legwork here really hard.
Yeah.
And I would definitely come up with a set of topos. I know on X, and that's a very good program they have. And you can actually on GPS, on my unit, I have mapping on that also. But when it comes right down to it, there is nothing like having a good set of topos, okay? And that way you can see where those key breaks are on the contours and where those north-facing slopes are, where they're going to bed, the darkest timber. You can find benches that those elk will bed on. And that's really key. And when I'm going to make a hunt, I'll have that actually in a pack in my cat quiver. And if I have to pull it out and look at something, if I get messed up from other hunters or something and I want an out and I don't want to ruin my hunt, then I can study that just a few minutes and say, hey, I need to go this way. This is where the benches are. This is where the meadows are. This is where some key areas. There's water down there. They're going to be coming up from that water. They've been down there all night watering and grazing. They're going to be coming up out of that, bedding in the dark timber, and then going back down lake. So even though all the technology that we have, I still believe in a good set of topo maps. And talking to as many people that live out there, those people see those elk a lot every day. And I would just do some real good homework on talking to and doing that.
Yeah. So they actually, with our...
There's a biologist too somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, a biologist, they take good care of those animals. Those people, that's why it's a coveted tag.
They don't get that big by just letting them loose.
No,
they manage them.
You're a lucky person.
I'm very fortunate, very, very fortunate. But there's with the packet that they sent us, because like I said, it's a couple of us. We put it in as a group. I say we, I didn't even put in, but the knife I showed you. So Zach, he went. I did some video stuff for him, and a little shout out to Raptor P Custom Knives. Check out that hitch. That's that little orange knife I showed you right there. Well, I'll have to get you one. So hold me to it. Don't me forget. I'll get you one. You take it to New Mexico with you. But
I'm a knife person. I love knives.
Well, he does them in multiple different colors. Just let me know what color you want, and I'll get you one.
Orange is nice.
I'll get you one. So consider it done. But I went, and Zach was kind enough to put me in with their group, and so he met a preacher from Texas. And they've been buddies, and they've done some hunts and some different things, and gone to like the Total Archery Challenge. They've done that kind of stuff. So Zach threw me in their group with them, and don't know how, but we got drawn.
Just drew it, man. Somebody's going. That's what I tell people. I said, you're not going to draw it if you don't apply. I apply every year, and it's been a long time since I've drawn a tag, but you still have that. You have that opportunity, and it's going to cost you $10 or $15 paperwork, for the state to do that. But still, I mean, you're talking, in some of those units down in the Southwest, like the Gila and stuff, you're talking, $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 for a landowner tag. So if you draw that tag, now if you put in with an outfitter, your percentage goes up.
Right.
From 6 to 10, okay? So, you might want to consider, an outfitter, and that way your scouting and all this legwork that you're going to do is pretty well, you're dependent upon him.
Yeah.
And he's going to put you on the animals.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do. They sent us in our packet telling us about the units and what we got drawn for and all that. There's a list of the guides, because you have – if I read it correctly, which I'm pretty sure I did, you have to have a reservation member. So you got to have a Navajo reservation member to be your guide or to accompany you on this hunt, which is so cool. Like that's cool.
That's the guy you need to send a knife to.
We're taking him some. We're taking him multiple of those knives for sure. And so they sent us a packet.
Me and Tonto would get to be good buddies.
You ain't lying, dude. You are not lying. And so, matter of fact, the one that they sent us a packet and had a list or had all kind of information in there. But this one page inside this packet, or they emailed us or whatever, has a name of the guides for that area for those units. So I just quickly, it took 15 minutes. I just got on Facebook, and everybody has Facebook, and so I just searched each person and their name, and it's not like their name is Joe Blow. Like the guy one of the guys I've been talking to, his name is James Yellowhorse. So so it's Indian names, and so they're very easy to find, and it's not like you got to go through a herd of them or like multiple 10 or 15 different like Brad Smiths to find the right one. So I just went through every single one of them and looked, and if they have not posted multiple picture of elk in the last several years, every year, I just scratched them off. I was like, I'm not even looking at it, because if you're serious about it, you're posting pictures of that. It's not just going to be your kid's basketball game. You got to make sure
you got an archery guy.
For sure. And so that's another thing too. Once I went through that, as I was looking, I would just put like a point to show if it was like archery, like a broadhead, just put like a little point, like a triangle like this on there. So anyhow, long story short, that's what I did. And out of that list of 25 or 30, there may have been 4 that I would even consider. And one of them is a Keep the Faith Guide Service, younger guy. Tons of archery stuff on there of big monster mule deer and elk, and big elk too. A guy named Ron Yellowhorse, and I think it's his nephew James Yellowhorse. Both of them, tons of pictures from the last number of years of elk and mule deer, and even like bighorn sheep out there in Arizona, all that, and a lot of it with a bow too. So I narrowed it down, and then once I did that, I went through, Googled them. If they had a website, looked at it there, which none of them, only one of them, the Keep the Faith Guide Service, out of, I think, Arizona. He was the only one. Everybody else, no website. So I just sent him a message on Facebook and been talking to him.
Another key thing that you've got going for you is that you have the time.
Yeah.
You can that's their monsoon, and you can get messed up with weather. You had several days of rain or bad weather, and on a 5-day hunt and be wiped out, So you've got good time there. You just need to pace yourself. And, I wouldn't push it, and he's going to watch you, and he'll pick up on your gait, on how fast you walk, and they'll make adjustments. A good guide will.
Yeah.
But I used to have a rule. I'd tell them, I say, let's make a little short hunt, and I want to see how you do, and then I'll judge. I don't want to have to look around every time if I'm guiding somebody and see where they're at.
See if they're 5 feet.
I want them to be right there.
Yeah, 5 feet behind you or 50 yards behind you. Yeah.
And don't guide the guide.
Well,
don't guide the guide. He knows.
Yeah, I know hardly anything. Virtually nothing about elk hunting. So that's I want to keep my mouth shut.
And he'll back up and call for you, which is a huge plus. And you just got to remember that a lot of the setups will blow the deal because people don't know how to set up. And I'll about never set up on the edge of a field or an open area. And people say, well, why not? That you can shoot out there. But what happens is if you get an animal coming straight in on you, any movement, your camouflage will do a good job if you don't move. They pick up movement.
Yeah.
And always, I'm going to show you my bow setup, but the wind, of course, is vital. I preach that so much. But when you're setting up, I try to back up into something or get behind something, but I want some shooting lanes, and I want the animal to walk behind something to where I can get my bow back.
Yeah.
I can watch an elk show, and I can just about tell you if he's going to kill him or not, or get the shot. Because if that elk's got him pinned and there's nothing between him and that animal, he's messed up.
Ain't happening.
He can't get the bow back.
And them sun guns will bolt on you quick too.
They will, and that's another good point right there. Even if you get caught in that situation, remember this. Even if you get caught in that situation, a lot of times all of a sudden they saw that movement and they turn and they'll make 7 or 8 long jumps and they'll spin around to look back to check it. You check what was that. Don't stop your draw cycle. Just come on back with it, and you'll be able to judge if you knew how far he was there. You'll be able to judge. Say he jumped 4 times. Well, he's going to be another 10 yards or so.
Yeah.
And just add that to your pin. You're shooting at a basketball. Okay, that's about what you've got to hit. Okay, so remember not to keep drawing.
Yeah. Keep following through.
Follow on through. Get on the animal, even though he's running. If he doesn't stop, no big deal. Let it down and go find you another one.
Yeah.
So that's a real. I've had people that I would be back calling for, and he turned and wheel and they let down. And then they try to draw again, and he takes off again. You know. So
yeah. Well, speaking on that, let's go. You got your arrows and stuff here.
Yeah,
we're talking
I got
that.
I do have some new things I want to talk about. And the people out there, I want to remind them that they heard it on your deal here. I take bow hunter, and in last month's issue, I don't know if anyone said anything to you about it. I'm going to show you the picture of this where people can go to it. But there is a deal. Find the front page here. All right. There. And last month, okay, every once in a while, something comes down the pike that's really catches your eye. And this guy has come up. The name of the company is High Tech Blood Tracking. Okay. And this guy has come up with an app. I already have it downloaded. $29 a year. Okay. It utilizes on your cell phone, it utilizes the camera on your phone. You can tap on that thing, and if there is a tiny speck of blood, you've shot your elk or you've shot your deer or whatever, and we're out there in the middle of the night trying to get a direction on this animal. We've all been there. We're on our knees looking for blood. You can scan with this thing, and it'll pick up a tiny drop of blood. It'll circle it, and the phone will vibrate. So now I'm just, where my eyes are bad, if a person is colorblind, okay, they don't see red, this will actually go into a blue mode. It's got about 4 modes. So I see blood and I see red, so I leave mine on red. But if you want to put it on blue, you could put it on blue, and you're just scanning. You got your light, but you're scanning. Okay, so what I did was I downloaded the app. I said, I'm going to check this guy out. So I was going to cook ribs one night. So I caught the blood from the ribs, put it in a cup, went outside, found me a few leaves and stuff, and I made me a trail. Turned that thing on, started down through there. There was a drop I couldn't see. There it is. I got down and looked at it. Yeah, that's blood. And that thing, I just went right on down. And it works. It's absolutely unbelievable. Huh. So, like I said, to recover an animal that just bleeding just a little bit, that's going to be a winner right there.
High tech.
It's high tech blood tracking.
Let me.
Okay.
Let's see. Before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and download it.
Now this has just come out. This hadn't been on the deal except for a couple of months.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I've already downloaded it.
What's the actual name? Let me see it. What's the actual name of the app? Is that it?
I think the app is right on the end of the article. you get the article, if you pick up it may be right on the end there.
Let's see. Track and trail.
Track and trail.
Track and trail.
But, if it helps anyone out there, recover their deer or their elk, well, man, that's great. $29. I mean, anybody can't eat lunch early for that.
We spend $100 on deer cast, $100 on Onyx.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I downloaded it. I'll open it up here.
All right, next thing down the pike,
wild.
is we'll talk about arrows, and I'm pretty excited. Okay, this is Victory's new HLR.
Yep.
Hunting long range, and I shoot a 350 span. Okay, and they have all the spans available, but the 350 really tuned good out of my bow. And what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish is get there as quick as you can, pull that pin gap in as tight as you can, maybe, because if you don't judge right, it may bail you out. But let's get that pin gap on in and try to get a little more RPMs going out there, but still have the weight, enough weight and velocity to have the momentum to go on through the animal. And that arrow, being a small diameter arrow, and they built it for that. It was built really, I think, for an out west hunt where you're going to shoot. You may have a 50, 60, 70-yard shot. My effective range right now, I'm having eye trouble. I'm 75. My effective range is 60 yards. I'm not going to shoot one past that just because I'm older and I'm having trouble. But I know guys that shoot 80, 90 yards. They practice that far. They kill animals all the way in. But I've shot this arrow quite a bit already. The one downside is that this arrow is a spine-aligned arrow. It has a line on top, and you really need to shoot that with the line on top. And you'll notice that when I knock this arrow, we'll put it in there. Okay. That my fletching is setting two to one side and one up. Well, that top fletching lines up with that line.
Yep.
So I'm shooting every one of those arrows spine aligned
every
up.
time.
Okay. A super good arrow. They've just come out with it. They've been needing to do that for a long time. This is a fast shoot. This bow is, I'm shooting about 68 pounds with this Hoyt. I'm shooting this arrow between 390 and 400 grains.
Yeah. And
I'm shooting at 300 feet, So for an old guy, that's my pin gap.
That's tight.
On a basketball size. And I'll tell you, I'll give you another shooting tip on an elk.
Lay it on me.
If you got an elk and he's 40 yards or under, and I'm talking about he could be at 20, you need to try this. Just try this next time you're shooting your bow. Get at 20 and put your 40-yard pin and see how high it goes, okay? So what I'm saying, you could, if you put your 40-yard pin on the heart, from 40 in, you're going to kill him.
You're going to kill him.
If he's at 35, and what you're going to find is that on a fast shooting bow, I'm shooting fast, but even on a 280 foot per second bow, you're going to find you're going to be around 5 or 6 inches high. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's right in the middle of him, So that's just a little tip there.
Yeah.
That when you're trying to figure out how far, and he's under 40, you can do that. Another thing, while I've got the bow in my hand, is I always talk about the wind. When I'm moving in on an animal, I'm always, there you go. I am staring at that thing every step I'm moving in. You see it moving there now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just with a little bit. That's a kind of a yarn that I tie on there. You can do the same thing with a little red thread with a feather on the end of it. It'll really blow good. But you can see, I mean,
Oh, yeah. It don't take much.
The wind, they can look dead at you, and they're not sure. And if you don't move, you get away with it. But if they smell you,
You're done.
you're done.
So if you're listening to this instead of watching the YouTube, what he has, and I have it on mine, that bow right back there. But and I stole that from you and Michael Little. But just getting some string and putting on at the end of your, if you're running a front stabilizer, which you should, you need to go and just tie a little bit of string. And I mean, you're really, really fine. Something that if you sit there and you barely blow it, like you just barely blow it, it'll move pretty good. That way, even the slightest 1 to 2 mile an hour wind shift change, you'll be able to you'll be notified, I guess, by the end of your stabilizer.
And that keeps you from, a lot of people, you see them doing the puffer.
Yeah.
That's movement.
That's just movement,
That's
movement. Yep.
You don't want to do that. You want to be able to, you're sitting there locked up. I'm glancing down at that thing. And I'm moving in.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very important step.
Well, that's one thing. So on the arrows, I was trying to decide, did I want to go with the Easton 5.0 or did I want to go with...
And there is the Easton 5.0.
So that's what I was trying to decide. Did I want to go with the Easton 5.0 or that Victory HLR? And I chose the Easton 5.0, but they're both great arrows. But mine is, I'm shooting 7. So actually that bow, that's the Matthews Lift X 29.5. And at 7, I got shooting 75 pounds, 28-inch draw. The hunting arrow, those arrows right there, the one with the halo knock on the end, 75 grain Easton stainless half out up front, just exactly like what you have there. Got 75 grains up front, exact same setup. What you have, is that a 340?
That's a 340. Yeah.
The exact same arrow. So I got a wrap and different veins, but other than that,
you're 400 grains,
425 on the nose, and that's with the halo knock. And I mean, that's ready to shoot at a deer or elk or hog or whatever, ready to go. 425, and it's 306 feet per second right out of the bow. Check this out. Oh, it's humming. I'm shooting 75 pounds too, but still 306 right out of the bow, feet per second.
That's fantastic.
At 60 yards with that little Garmin setting it up, because we did the sight tape, put it on there. At 60 yards, we had to get the speed. Guess what that son was going shooting? 275.
Oh,
275 feet per second at 60 yards.
I'll tell you about this era. Okay, I got the HLRs first.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I got to hearing about this 5.0. So I said, I better look into that. So I got a dozen of them, fletched them up, and shot them. I have never shot an arrow that good. And I worked for Carbon Express for 25 years. I'm not saying that there's not good. That HLR is a fine arrow.
A great arrow.
It's a very good arrow. I've never shot an arrow this good. These people have got this figured out. I mean, it's spec on. I weighed them. I spun them. I did everything that you can think of on an arrow. The only thing I changed on my arrow is I went to a biter knock.
Yeah.
The throat on their knock I like a short loop, a real short loop. The throat on their knock, the back of that knock pushed up into the curve of my loop.
Uh-huh.
So, and I love a biter anyway. I used to shoot tournaments, and a biter's always been the top spec.
Yeah.
And they make a biter that, of course, goes right in there. And it's got a real nice little click when you put it on the string. It comes off really good. Their ultralight knock does too. I mean, if you got a little bit longer loop, it's not a problem.
Right.
But anyway, so there's your 2 arrows.
So what's going to go through? What's going to go through an elk this year?
This will be the arrow I kill my elk with.
The Easton 5.0.
Right.
So one thing that was so just outstanding to me was we shoot a bunch. We shoot a whole lot, and we shoot those longer distances. We shoot the TAC events, all that, and so you're going to go and you're going to hit a target in the leg or hit it in a hard spot. I ain't talking about the pole like that rod, but I mean, you're going to hit it in a hard spot. or you're going to go and you're going to miss or shoot through whatever.
Right.
You're going to hit the ground. After all the shooting that I've done with those Easton 5.0s, and I've not shot the HLRs, but I know the RIP TKO by Victory. I've said that there will never be another arrow as tough as that one. It don't matter what you put it through.
Tough arrow.
It's a tough son of a gun. That Easton 5.0 though, it turned me into a believer. You go and no matter what you go and hit, now if it splinters it or something, that's a different story. But you just shoot the fire out of it. The material, the carbon that they're using for that thing, when you spin it, it stays true.
Oh yeah,
there's no wobble.
The worst thing you can do is if it's at 60 or 70 yards and you're shooting at your target is missing, it goes under the grass. Yeah. I lost one the other day doing that. But anyway, so another thing, that's your arrow. That's your update on arrows. I don't think you can go wrong with either arrow. But for me, I shot both of them. My bow seems to like the 5.0 a little bit.
Well, before we move past it, don't forget what you're about to go into next, okay? Just keep that in mind. You got this green thing, which I'm really interested to see what in the world that is. So,
all right, let me tell you.
Tell me that. I want to go back into the weight. Tell me that, and then I want to go back into the weight of arrows after. So go and tell me that, and we can go into the arrows again.
Okay. I have up in front of my arrow, I have a 50 grain insert.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm shooting 100 grain. And Michael at Spotted Dog, we figured up the FOC, and I'm at about 16%. And from what all accounts, and I never have been a big guy that and there's a formula for it, I mean, that you can figure out. But I've always screwed 100 grain broadhead on there and shot it. But there's a lot of talk about FOC. And to me, from what I'm hearing, that 16% is right in there, you know. So, and probably a little more weight might even be better. But it's going where I want it to.
What's the kinetic energy that you're pushing out of that thing?
I don't have
probably mid to upper 70s, huh?
It's
Michael told me, and I thought he said that mid to upper 70s.
Yeah, we checked all of that, and we I think I really don't remember. Yeah. I would be guessing if I said
it's on up there.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Yeah. Why are you shooting? And I know why, but there's so much debate. Like I feel like it's as big as mechanical versus fixed broadheads when it comes to arrow weight. Why are you pushing 400 versus something, there's people that say you need a 550 or 600 grain arrow shooting an elk. Why are you choosing something so light?
Well, if you see everybody you talk to, they're getting 450, 500, 550, way up there. But I've got good velocity, okay? And if you go, and I was hung up on kinetic energy really bad. And nobody had never said much about momentum, and it's momentum. So if you take that hot speed, and keep in mind I'm older now, I'm not going to shoot 75 pounds. My shoulders, I've already tore one up. Of course, I've been shooting 60 years.
You've been shooting a long time.
My first bow was an Allen, the old fiberglass lens. But so if I can get that good speed, that 295 to 300, I've got an arrow that's a small diameter. I'm going to cut a good hole. I mean, I'm cutting 1.25 inches at least, and you take that formula from momentum, and it's on there. You can go on YouTube and find the thing from momentum. I've got plenty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch at 370. I think it's 372 arrow weight. That's enough to kill a whitetail at 50 yards. Okay, I'm at between 390 and 400. And a lot depends on, too, the broadhead. If you got a really good, sharp broadhead that flies good, it's going to do it.
Yeah.
My arrows, I've always shot. I've shot a lot of. I've killed a lot of them with Carbon Express, but I've tried to stay around 400. And in the past, I've shot about 390, and I've shot through elk at 50 yards. Big bulls, shot right through them. There's no doubt in my mind that arrow's it's got plenty.
Yeah, I watched a video of Levi Morgan yesterday. He just dropped it. he was talking about, I think the thumbnail on the video is maybe like what I think about FOC or something like that. He was saying that he does not go and calculate the FOC. He uses common sense. He said for him hunting, this is what he does. And he
there's
he knows
skinny
it.
dice right
Yeah,
there.
skinny dice. Yeah, so you ain't got to calculate it. He said that, when he's out hunting, overall, he's shooting 80 pounds, he said, with 31-inch draw. Levi Morgan's a big son of a gun. You've seen him, he's a tall cat.
Yeah.
And so, but he's shooting 31 inches draw length at 80 pounds out of one of the Matthews bows. And he said he wants to be that right there at 300, 310, somewhere around there feet per second. But his arrow weight, he said for most people, 400 is really, really good. He said you can go up to 500 depending on what your draw length or something like that is. He said, but he said there's no need in going in over that. He said, it hides tuning issues if you go heavier. He said, but just get somebody to tune your bow right, which Michael and Richard absolutely can. Get somebody to tune your bow right. Get the right arrow set up, get something to spine properly for your bow, and go out there with a light arrow. You got a much smaller pin gap. So like you're saying, if you got a deer, or in this case, an elk at 20 yards, okay, or just say it's 30 yards. It don't matter any distance. This elk's at 30 yards. He spooks, he bolts, and he's now at 50. Your pin gap, it's dramatic. This is just to show your pin gap just went from this, where you're about to shoot over him, or you may hit way, way off, to
Absolutely.
A light, fast arrow shrunk down to like that. So your room for error, your margin of error is so much smaller. So you can be off 3, 4, 5 yards and still go and get it in there. Because like I said, if you look at those two, like that one, this is, let me show you. So you see that pin gap?
Yeah.
That's 20 yards and 44 yards.
Wow.
And it's that tight of a pin gap. And so that is what that's what I like, is being able to go and being able to draw back on something at 20 yards or whatever it is, and it get on out there a little ways further, whether it's a buck that runs a doe or whatever the case is, elk jumps, and still be in that ballpark.
Got it.
Yep.
You got it.
Anyhow, I just wanted to get your opinion on why you shot a lighter arrow.
There's so much hype out there, you just gotta go hunt and hear good hunters talk to good hunters, and those boys at Spotted Dog, they know. They know.
They do it. Yeah.
That's why you go there and get your equipment tuned right. And by the way, let me say this right now. You guys that are sitting around, it's done got hot to fish. You need to go get your equipment worked on right now. If you wait any later, if you get into August, you're going to be in a line in there.
Yeah.
And they may do something to your bow and get it tuned and set up, and you have something happen like a limb splinter or something, and you need some time to go back and get that fixed.
Yeah.
So don't wait, and you need to be shooting right now. Hopefully you got the elk tag that you really want. And you should be working out, getting ready for the hunt of a lifetime or to go out west. There's nothing, it's the finest thing in the world. It's where I'm going to be in September if I'm alive. But the biggest thing is to get yourself, it's flat here. We have 100% oxygen.
Yeah.
It's not flat out there.
You're right.
And this is my recommendation to you at 6 weeks out if you're an archery hunter. If you're a gun hunter, you got a little longer. But I would go, if you're a Monroe person, I would go to the MAC, okay, and get with a good trainer. John Ann, that's one of the ladies that I watch every day that I'm there, and I don't have anything to do with her. But that's one of the ladies that will get you there. You don't want to go to the MAC or anywhere you're going to work out and just start pulling on stuff and doing stuff that's going to actually harm yourself. Go get with a trainer and let them lay you out a good program that'll gradually, she'll know how much time you got, and let them walk you into the shape to where you can really enjoy your hunt.
Yeah.
And you spend all that money and
time, effort.
Absolutely.
I don't want to get out there and and not be able to keep, like you said, keep up with the guide or whatever the case is. I don't want that. I want to get out there and be able to keep up.
And you want to be a part of getting the elk out.
Oh, yeah.
And I've had 2 on the ground at one time. One of the other boys, we both come into camp and said, I killed one this morning. Well, I did too. We got 2 down. So, oh my goodness, you know.
All about the work.
You better be, I say this, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
So,
What's that green thing you got?
This is a deal I got at the bow show one year. And I've noticed that when I start to shoot, my first shot is always not the best shot. And that's the shot that I want to be the best.
Right.
Okay, so what I do is I take this thing, and wherever I'm parking a four-wheeler or side-by-side or my truck and I'm getting ready to go hunt, I step out and I draw this thing and I anchor. And I get those muscles stretched to where I'm in tune, okay? Now I've already shot the first shot.
Yeah.
My second shot's always a lot better.
Right.
So it's just something to keep from having to draw your bow and dry firing it or whatever.
Right.
Then I'll work with this just a few minutes wherever I'm at to get my arms loosened up. Another real good exercise I do before I hunt is I'll take this bow and grab it right here, and I'll just put it behind me and
just
stretch
stretch
those back muscles.
Yeah.
You know, just give it a good, put it behind your back and push down, and you'll feel those back muscles stretch out.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets you limbered up to draw. And you younger guys may not have to do that.
Nah, look, I woke up the other morning and thought I had arthritis in my hands. I'm getting a little bit older, so I need to I need to start doing some stuff. Stretching ain't gonna hurt anybody.
Richard and Michael down Spotted Dog, I'm sure they can find this and connect you up to it.
Does it come with different weights?
It comes just like you see it. There's an up there.
Where's the back wall? There's no back wall in it. I'm kidding.
It's stretching your muscles.
I'm kidding with you. Yeah, that feels good.
All right, now I want to talk to you about this. So we're watching YouTube, and I see these guys. I actually get tickled at it sometimes. And this guy may be from somewhere, and he's a little overweight. He's got a 50 or 60 pound pack on there. And I said, what can they possibly be carrying in that thing to waste? Now, I can understand if you're going to go in there and you're going to be in there all day, you got a sandwich and maybe some water, and you may have a place to tie a jacket on. But these packs are giant.
Loaded.
And you're taking every step you're taking. I've been working out since March to lose weight that I won't have to carry around up there. So I thought that I'll just show you what I do, okay? And you guys, hey, do what you want to, but I'm just saying, I think you're overdoing it with these packs. I guided a guy one time, and you sat at home, and you think of all these little things, you know, and you're throwing them in that pack. Yeah. But when you get out there and you take that thing on your back for a day or two.
You unloading it all.
Oh, look, man, look. That guy, he took that pack. He said, this pack is killing me. I said, well, let me have it. So I put it on, and I said, when I got it, I said, what in the world have you got in here? I opened it up, and there was a 5-pound pair of shears in there. Oh, I said, what are you going to do with these? Huh. Well, I may want to cut a limb. I said, you got a little limb saw, you can cut that. You ain't going to cut no limb. You're going to set up better than that. But anyway, so when we got back that night, I went through his pack, and I said, now we'll carry this.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is what I hunt with, and this is what I've hunted with the whole time. And can I take this
take
thing?
them off. Yeah, take them off.
I can take this off. So what I do.
Pull that mic towards you just a little bit so I can hear you. You ain't got to have it right on you.
Is I slip this on, and it has a chest buckle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really good here. And then I have binoculars.
Right.
That I put on over here. Now, when I'm scouting or riding a bike, I have a enclosed binocular holder. But when I'm hunting, I just have them hanging on a a harness
Gotcha.
type deal. So this is on my back, and the arrows, I have 4 arrows in here, and you can adjust this thing. This is by Rancho Safari, made this, okay? And it's a cat quiver. And my arrows sit in there perfect.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm left-handed, so when I've got this on my back, I can reach around and pull the arrow out of there just like that, and I'm knocked up.
Yep.
I keep my bow lean, okay? I don't want a quiver. Now, a quiver's fine, okay? I'm not down in a quiver on a bow, but it adds a lot of weight to in their aiming process. If you're going to shoot a quiver on your bow, practice with a quiver on the bow. A lot of people they'll be out there shooting their bow, practicing that their quiver's not on there. Okay, it's going to make your bow do some torques and stuff, so you need to practice with it.
Yep.
Okay, so this eliminates that. It gets the arrows on my back to where it's easy to carry. Okay, so in this pack, let's see what I've got. Okay, so we're going to spin this around. Now on the sides, I've got strings here and loops that I can tie a jacket on. If I wore a jacket where I hunt, you're not going to have one on very long, about 300 yards, you're going to be out of that jacket. So in here, I have a pack of calls, okay? I have, if I'm calling for someone else, there's your wind puffer, okay? I also carry a real good lighter. If something happens to me in there, the best thing I can do is nail down and build a fire if I can't walk. This is a very good one. It's windproof. Okay? It actually has a little spout on it. And I can hit that, and I don't care. That thing will light anything. Okay? So I've got a real good lighter to build a fire if I get in trouble. There is some paper towels in here that I can use for a little something to start a fire with. So that's a must. Okay. Then, there's my release. Okay. And I also carry a little first aid kit. Now, in that, I've got several Tylenol pills. I've got some Band-Aids, and I've got a little tube of Neosporin. Okay. And I've got a compass. Now I've got on my belt, I've got a GPS and my knife. Okay. And on this side, I have a rangefinder because I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
Okay. But never, ever trust electronics in the mountains. There's something screwy. Last year, I had my GPS went crazy. I couldn't figure it out. I recalibrated it several times. I changed batteries. This, if you have looked at your topos, okay, you know where you're at, knowing the area you're going to hunt, you know there's a forest road 2 miles this way, you can take this and go to that forest road, and you can get out.
Yep.
That will bail you out.
Old school, simple compass.
That's exactly right. Now, Cajun boy, he was looking at that one day, and he said, well, there's north, and there's south. Now, where am I? So,
You
but
gotta know how to
anyway,
use it.
It's just coordinate this with your maps. When you're looking at your maps, know that there's something over here I can go to if I go south, or there's a trail to the north, and you're in that whole area.
Right.
That gives you a way to get out of where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're by yourself, always I've got backup batteries for that GPS.
Yep.
I got all that. Always, when you leave your camp, I did this one year. I was in there for 10 days by myself, and I got a late tag. That's another story. But anyway, ended up by myself, and I don't really care about doing that, but I wanted to hunt so bad, and I said, I'm going hunting. So I always leave a detailed note on something there by your bed, maybe a little notebook saying, date, today's date, this is where I'm hunting. I went into this area, blah, 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 and give them some description somewhere that they can go find you.
Right.
Because you never know. In the mountains, you can slip on a rock, you can turn an ankle, you can break a leg,
Yep.
and you're there.
Yep.
You're there. And some people go on and get a spot, that little spot thing that you can actually,
like the little Garmin InReach.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And to get you out of there. And just think about where you're at now, and think about, what could happen if this does this or that does that,
Yeah.
And so just some extra little precautions. We're excited every year to go to the mountains, but we need to think about what we're doing.
Yeah.
We want to have a good hunt and have a safe trip and kill a big bull and come back home and celebrate and do all that. So anyway, but that's what I carry. Let's see, this is a new little item here that I really like, and I've got a battery recharging pack that I can. Now you say it's a little Nebo.
Okay.
Okay, and what it does is you just turn it on, and the dial actually gives you different.
Oh wow!
And that will actually, I can track with that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, when I get back to the camp, I don't have electricity. I'm in a tent somewhere in the mountains. So, but I can plug this in to that energy pack that I've got, and I can get probably a dozen charges on this thing, that and my phone.
Yeah.
If you're hunting on X with your phone, then you need a way to do that.
Yeah.
So I just got through purchasing. That's a great little.
I may be wrong. I think we sell that. Did you get this from the store? I think we sell. I don't know if we do or not. I think we may sell this.
I got that actually at Batteries, Bubs, and
Batteries Plus or whatnot.
Yeah. I think that's where I got that.
Yeah.
But now, other than that, I have a cap light that I walk with, keep my hands free. And then I actually have a battery powered.
Yeah, a little stream light, little pin.
Backup. So I got 3 lights in there that'll get me out of there.
That's the worst thing, man. I can't tell you, me being younger, going out deer hunting and hog hunting, coon hunting, anything, go out there and your lights ain't charged up or you don't take extra batteries, whatnot. You go out there in the pitch black dark with a dead light. That's the worst thing.
Oh, look.
You get in a bind.
There was one year, there's some new lights come out, and boy, you turn them on, they were bright. And Bob Sale, my good buddy Bob Sale, bless his heart, he's deceased now, but down at his camera shop, said, man, I got this new light. You need to come look at this light. It's a little bitty, I turned it on. Wow, how long will it run? Well, I don't know. We hadn't tested it. Really, it's just brand new. So I was just fixing to go elk hunting. I bought 2 of them. I took them out there, and I'm way back in there, hit the road running, chasing elk, and got way back in there. Well, in about 10 minutes of walking, that thing just, boom, just cut off. Oh, what's going on here? I hit it and did all that, Well, I got the other one out. Didn't get much more time out of that. Now I'm back in there. I'm way back in there, and it's mountainous. I said, there's nothing for me to do but sit down and wait for daylight. And I said, my camp is going to be upset. They're going to be wanting to look for me and all of that. And I'm just sitting there, and I said, I can't walk. I'll walk out over a catfish or something, it's too dangerous. So I sat down, and lo and behold, in about 20 to 30 minutes, the moon came out, and my eyes got adjusted to where I could see, and I walked right out of there in the moonlight. But if it'd been dark, I'd really been in trouble.
Yeah, you'd have been sitting there all night. Where were you when that happened?
I was in Unit 16A.
New Mexico?
In New Mexico.
So you didn't have any grizzlies to worry with?
In the Gila. Yep.
Have you hunted anywhere where there's grizzlies? Elk hunted where there's grizzlies?
I have not. That's Wyoming, Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have not.
Will you?
I would. I'm not as afraid of, maybe I should be more. I think they're more afraid of you than you are of them. And it's just what you don't want to do is get between them and a cub, or something freaky happen like a kill, and you walk into a place that they're on a kill or something. You just have to, if they're there, you just have to, be a little more careful.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I would carry the spray before I'd pack a big,
before a big gun.
Right.
Yeah, that spray, man. That stuff's bad.
It shoots out a real long way. I've read up on it, and so that's what I would do. I would carry the spray, and it's less dangerous. I shoot my leg off or my foot or something trying to pull that blame gun out.
Yeah. Well, you see it like on my bino harness right there. I have that gun holster, and depending on where I'm at, and if it's public land, I mean, again, I hope I never have to use any of it, but I have a Glock 43X, and it's got a light on it, and so that's what I took forever. Well, I put together the spring a 22 pistol. It's that Ruger 22 pistol. It's the Mark IV. I got it, and it's got a light on it with a red dot and a suppressor. So it sticks out a little bit, but I can put that thing in there. And I mean, you're just talking about just going and sitting, shooting a coon, or you're up there, you shoot a grouse or whatever you want to, you can. But now I enjoy that. That's why I got that little holster on the bottom of mine for just
sure,
just in case. But
okay, so you've knocked your elk down. You're lucky enough to kill one.
Yep.
I don't have that stuff on my back to where I'm going to start whittling on that elk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open that elk up, and depending on if I'm going to mount him or not, then I'm going to probably come on up to under the chin. The neck is the hottest part on an animal. Okay, that hair is really thick. It's hard to cut. But if you'll open that on up to where some air can get into that, and I get the insides out, and I'll prop that elk open, and I'll leave a jacket or something on there just for the scent of the animals that's coming around. And I'm getting the troops, and we may come back that night. He's easier to handle because he's still limber.
Yeah, he ain't stiff.
And the next morning he's going to be plenty stiff. Now the meat will be chilled out from the overnight, and you can always do a better job when you can see. But what you do before you go out there, you fix you a bag, okay? And I talked about this in the last podcast, but if I'm there at night, I want a good light.
Yep.
Now this light, I got this at Home Depot.
Okay,
I can put that on a limb.
Yep.
And I'm not going to turn it on. It is bright. It's 2,000 lumens. Okay?
Battery lasts a little while?
Okay. Pardon?
The battery lasts a little while?
4 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Goodness.
All right. We got a meat saw.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
You can take a set of horns off with this.
Mm-hmm.
Cut a leg.
Yep.
Cut through a rib cage. Okay, you got to have that. All right. But I'm really crazy about when I kill an elk, it's a celebration because I know I've got some fine eating there. I mean, the meat is absolutely wonderful, okay? So, and I've seen some outfitters, and I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but I've seen some at the locker, some come in that have dirt and pine straw. They just didn't do a good job on taking care of the meat. Don't do that. You can get prepared for it and do a great job. Now, I've got some gloves I slip on to make my cleanup better when I'm done and to keep me from getting some kind of whatever. And then I go with some bags, and I've got like 6 of these.
Big game bags.
And that's a bag that'll hold a hindquarter, okay? If I cut the leg off and put that in and pull that string, that'll go. And then I'll cut some limbs and lay on the ground and lay this on there. And it actually gives you a little airflow underneath there. So be real particular with your meat and take good care of it because you're going to eat on that elk all year. We eat on one every year like that. And 6 of them, 2 of them will be your loose meat that you cut off the ribs and your tenderloins will go in one on each side, and then a quarter in each one. So that's 6. Sometimes I have if it's where I can, I'll take a small tarp to lay it on just to keep it off the ground that much better. But anyway, and another key thing to taking an elk out, you're talking about an 800-pound animal now. Well, I still to this day, when I walk up to one on the ground, I just go, golly, look how big these animals are. We used to hunt whitetails. Look how big. But I have several things of rope. And what I do is I'll tie the side that's laying up that we're going to take off first, and you skin them just like a whitetail. But I'll tie this around the leg right below his hoof, and hopefully I can find me a little tree back there somewhere, and I can pull that leg up where I can actually stand up and circle the leg and go down and make my cuts.
Yeah.
I have two positions that I've got to get in. It's either standing up or on my knees over the elk. If I bend over, it cuts my diaphragm off, and I'm out of air pretty quick. So getting those legs up in the air to where you can actually stand up and work on it, and both of them, you'll have both of them up.
Yeah.
And then you can work on them and do what you need to. So that's just a tip. And there are some companies that's got, I have some cleanup wipes.
Yep.
You know, if you want to wipe some stuff down. And I'll throw a bottle of water or two in here. But this is a spray. It's called Carcass Spray. And if you've got a problem with bees or flies that's getting on your meat, this will not hurt the meat, but it will keep them off of there.
Really?
So you're not getting stung by a bee.
Yeah.
Those things they find it quick.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty good little
Let's see what
item.
that is.
Yep.
Carcass Spray, Koola Buck, Koola Buck.
You got an area that's got flies in it. It's swarming on your meat.
Huh. Spray directly on the surface of a skinned carcass. Apply generously on trophy tapes.
Another thing I do is I'll have a little headlamp for night.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm putting the light right. That's going to light up the area. Helps you take some pictures. But I'll have a little headlamp on, and I can put that light where my knife's at. And I carry several of these.
Yep.
Okay, razor sharp to be able to work on. And that's all in this bag. All I do when I kill an elk, I go in here and grab this. I grab that bag, and I'm headed back to my animal.
Right back out.
Get him out. Right.
Do y'all go in with horses ever? Do you ever go in with horses? Have you used horses to pack elk out? Or
I never have. I'm not big. I'm not big on having a rodeo every morning. I know a lot of people that do that, and that's not a bad way to go. But I like to sleep in a big, nice tent. I make a hunt, maybe 7 or 8 miles in the morning. I'll come back to that camp, get me some breakfast or a sandwich, and I lay down in there and get some rest. And all my stuff's dry. I'm just not. I haven't done any pack-ins. I don't think I would like that because what's happening is you're setting up a camp. You may get on the horses and ride to different areas, but eventually you're going to run everything out of that little area where your camp's at.
Yeah.
Then you've got to pick up and move again. If I'm in a central location in the unit, I can truck to another location, or I can ride a four-wheeler or side-by-side to another location.
Yeah.
I always try to get in the center of my best elk area. And that way it gives me fingers and avenues to go to from there.
Yeah.
I'm not limited. If I mess them up over here, hey, I got 3 more spots I can go hit, just like fishing.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of e-scouting, like looking at topos and all that, preparing for the hunt?
I don't, because I would if I was going to a new area.
Yeah.
And I would definitely, I've got topos for a lot of units right now. I'm a big topo guy.
So just say like you are. Most people don't know the areas like you know them. And so if you're going like me, you're going to a new area you've never gone. Are you going and you studying? And I mean, I know you need to know the lay of the land. I get all that. But are you really going and doing a ton of e-scouting?
Let me tell you what I did before I went to where I'm at right now. New Mexico is where I've killed a lot of them. Water is a scarce thing. Okay, so I know if I've got timber for bedding and water and grass, I'm going to have some elk there. So what I try to do is I key on a lot of water, okay? Now, if you're in Wyoming or Colorado or somewhere and there's a big river running down through there, that might be out. But still, there's going to be seeps and stuff like that where they'll wallow. And what you want to look for is I get on Google Earth, and I can walk right down. Now, these cowboys, what they do, they're watering their cattle. They're not building it for no elk, okay?
Right.
But what they'll do is they'll walk a piece of machinery up a canyon, and where two tributaries come together, they'll dig out a hole there with a back over a cat, and they'll dig out a hole, and that'll catch water, and they'll put a dam there and fix a nice, about the size of this room, a nice tank. And the cattle go there and water, but the elk do too. So to find those, a lot of them aren't on the map. To find those, you get in the mouth of a canyon coming off the road down there, off of a Forest Service road, and you take that cursor and you just walk right up that canyon. And I can look all the way to the head of that canyon. Nope, there wasn't one there. Let's go over the next ridge. All right, let's start walking that one out. And it'll appear, when you find one, it will be a big round dot on that canyon floor, okay? And I set that cursor in the middle of that thing. There's my GPS coordinates.
Yep.
I write that down, and I name that tank, okay? When I get out there, I go find that baby.
Yeah.
2 or 3 days before time, I'm going in there. I want to see rubs around it. I'm looking for maybe on the shallow end where they're wallowing. And so I'm keying on water. Now, there's another trick, okay? You got to watch if it's a wet year like it is right now, one thing, the rut will be a little earlier, okay, because they've got good feed. They're getting plenty to eat. Mother Nature says, let's go ahead and do it. And there'll be an acorn crop. Now, that's not every year.
Yeah.
Okay. One year I totally lost the elk. I couldn't find where they were. I wasn't in them. And I happened to go riding, and I found some tracks crossing, and it wasn't nothing but a bunch of oak brush, standing probably building high, 10, 12 foot high oak brush. And I followed that, and I got up in there, and it was like a feedlot. Those acorns were on the ground, and it was just stunk with elk.
Thick.
And I killed a big bull right there, right in that. So you want to watch for the feed, what they're eating on. It could, if you have a good acorn crop, I would key on that. Where are those big oak bushes at?
Yeah.
Where's that at? Look on your map. You can look on Google, and you can see oak brush on Google. But that's a great scouting tool. It actually, you can sit by your computer, and you can run that country down, and it gives you elevations and all of that. So use that. Use the knowledge of what people you have that live there. If you happen to be lucky enough to go out there early and meet some of the people and get to know them, I'll give you another little tip while we're there. I was sitting on the front porch of a landowner that I'd bought a tag from, and this guy was classic, okay? I mean, he was an old-timer, had the weathered face, the high cheeks, big cowboy hat on, been running cattle all his life. And I told him, I said, we were sitting on his porch drinking coffee. I'd done made a hunt. And I said, I think I'm going to go set that water back there this evening. And they don't say much. When they say something, it counts.
You better listen.
So he said, they don't water every day, but about every 3 days. I said, what'd you say? He said, they don't water but about every 3 days. They're like cattle. I did not know that. Nobody's ever told me that. Okay. So when you're setting a water hole and nothing shows up, guess what? Maybe the next day is their day, Now, I want elk in the area.
Yeah.
I want to have heard some in that particular area and know that there are some around there and they're feeding in that area. But don't give up on that water. I killed a 350 last year on water.
Really? Every 3 days. How long did you hunt that water before you killed him?
I think that was the second hunt
Yeah.
out of a tree stand. Put a tree stand on a tree, climbed up, shot him at 20 yards. Just that day.
So what makes you, what time of the year was that? I mean, was that during the rut?
I want to say September the 16th, 17th, something like that.
Rut still hot and heavy?
Yeah.
So what makes you go and hunt over water versus going and running
The
trying to
difference
call them?
is, okay, and they have drinkers out there. The state puts drinkers out there, okay, where there's, not very much water. The state will put drinkers. And you can see them on Google. Now, they won't put them in a stream bed. They'll put what you'll see on Google Earth will be the top of that on your what you're looking at when you see that white like that and that big round circle. What you're looking at is a catch basin. Okay, it's metal that's tapered in to catch rain, and that funnels into a tank, and that hose goes out the bottom of that tank to a little trough. Okay, that's not as good as where you have a dirt tank, because what happens is during the rut, those bulls are chasing cows, and they'll break away from them every once in a while just to come cool off and get in the water. Okay, so it's a much better deal to sit on a dirt tank than it is, if you got some elk around a trough in one of those wildlife water things, and they won't tell you where they're at. I've tried to get the coordinates in, they won't tell you. So you have to find them. You have to find them on Google. So I've done a lot of my scouting on Google Earth. Yeah.
So are you only hunting water in the afternoon, in the evening time?
No. If I've got a good area where there's a bunch of elk, I'll set water in the morning. A lot of people don't do that, and they think it's just an evening hunt. Before those elk will go to bed, they'll come right by that water tank, and they'll water and go right on up into there. So that's really not a bad program. So if you're tired, if you're getting run down, you want to take a little break, you can go jack up over a water hole, and you got a real good chance to kill a big bull. A lot of those big bulls are hard to call away from those cows. Later in the rut, when they've got a big bunch of cows and it's hard to crawl in on them, you just about can't call them out of there, and when I'm calling or I'm working elk, I cannot stress enough that you have got to get in close, okay? You can sit out there all day long at 300 yards, and he'll bugle back at you, but you're just about not going to have him. You're just about not going to kill him. What I'll do is hopefully at daylight, I hear one, and I get a direction. I get the wind, the thermals. I'm seeing what they're coming down early. It's cool. They're coming down the mountain. So I've got that in my favor. And I always start out low because they're going to be going up, and I want to fall in on them. If you're on top, you're going to have to drop down and get on their level. Mm-hmm. And so when I see where he's at, if hopefully he bugled, I didn't have to bugle, I'll take off and I close that distance. Now, if he's so far away that I barely heard him, I may have to bugle one time and to relocate him. And then I'll but I want to be 100, 150, just as close as you can stand it. I mean, I've had
before you make that first call?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a challenge bugle at him. I'm just going, and that's another thing. Let's get the read out. Okay? You can sit there. I hear it all the time in the forest when I'm hunting. They will sit there and you'll hear, "Hoo-doo-doo, hoo-doo-doo." And if they got a bull to answer, I'm going to sit tight because they're probably going to run him over me. I may have a chance to kill him myself. But anyway.
Because they're getting away from him.
They're getting away from him.
Yeah.
You can't, You got to, all great callers, and on turkeys, anything you're calling, like an elk or a turkey or deer even, you have got to put some emotion in it. You know, what I'll do is I'll just hit him with that just as hard as I can, okay? Hopefully he'll respond back to me. You know, I'm in close. I put some emotion in it. Those guys are going, you know, that's not going to get it.
Yeah.
So on your cow call, you can do the same thing. And then once I get to going with him, I get worked up, like the elk gets worked up. You sucker, he'll scream at me, and boy, I'll just cut him off and scream back at him. You know, and your mama wears combat boots, you know? Talk to him, get mad at him. He's mad at you, get mad at him, you know? And with that, when you get that adrenaline going, you're going to get that into the call too. That's what calls them in. You just can't go and blow that little old, you know. But I very seldom chuckle. A lot of people do that unless you're Corey Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do a lot of chuckling.
He can do it.
Huh?
He can do it.
Oh yeah. And I can do it to some extent, but I think that most callers mess up with a chuckle because they're not good enough at doing the chuckle. And, you know, if I can hit him with a good high pitched bugle, that's the way I've killed them before. But I think the reason I was successful at killing them was I closed the distance. Whether it's a cow call or a bull call, you know, the distance is major, and you just can't sit out there way off and do it.
Yeah. Is there a typical schedule of a bull during the rut from let's call it from daylight?
That's a great question. Let me address that. So what happens is, late August, they're bachelored up. Okay, they've been growing their horns. They're growing them right now. I can show you pictures on my phone that they'll grow 2 to 3 inches a day.
Goodness.
And should I have those headphones on?
Only if you want to wear them.
Okay.
You ain't got to.
All right, we're okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, but so what they're doing is they're bachelored up, and they're somewhere probably high where it's cooler, summertime. They're up in there cooler. And there's 6, 8, 10 bulls maybe, and they're pushing one another around and they're playing. But what they're doing is they're figuring out who the boss is. They're establishing their pecking order right there by just that social, and they know each other. Mm-hmm. And when they bust and out along about the first week or second week of September, they're going to bust up. Okay. So what you're going to find if you're hunting through the timber and you come up on 25 or 30 big rubs in there, most people say,
this is it.
God, let me go grab the tree stand. This is the best place in the world. That's the worst place in the world.
Because they've already left and broke up.
They have gone. They're not there anymore. They all went a different direction. But they know one another, and that Mother Nature does that to avoid them having fights down the road. Now, where a big fight will come in is if this guy that was 30 miles over here or 20 miles over here, he comes in there and they don't know each other and they're pretty well matched, that's when you're going to have a problem. They're going to fight.
When the outsider comes in.
And really and truly, the cows will try to avoid that. They're trying to look out for him because that's the bull that's going to breed them, and so they'll actually push out. That's why a herd will leave if you approach them calling sometimes. So getting close will maximize that. I killed a big bull one year because I busted a cow. I was trying to crawl in on this bull. He was a herd bull, and he had a bunch of cows. I was trying to crawl in on him, and the cow was right there. I did not see, and she busted. Well, I had to reed in my mouth. I'm right in amongst them. So I just screamed as hard as I could, and that sucker come running in there on me at 25 yards, and I killed him. Okay, so that's just a scenario. But I get bumped up.
No, you're
man.
good. You're good. So start me off during the heat of the rut, and let's take the area that I'll be hunting, like in the places that I'll be hunting. You know that area well, and the type of country that is. Start me off at daylight during the heat of the rut, at daylight, and then work through midnight.
Okay. Hopefully you're in a good area, and you've parked your whatever you're in, and you got your Indian guide with you. What you're really going to do is at daylight or right before daylight, you're going to listen. Okay. And you say, well, got one right there. Okay. We got one right over there. Which one's the best one? Which one sounds the best? And you can't always go by that, because I've seen 5 points just growl and scream and can't go by that. But the one that's got the best wind advantage is the one I'll probably go to. And I start to him in the dark. Okay.
An hour or 2 hours before daylight, or?
It doesn't matter. If you're far enough away from him that the light won't bother him. If you're in more open country, I would not let that elk see the light.
Yeah.
I'm going to get as close as I can get to him in the dark, and then after it kind of gets light, I'm going to try to get on in on him.
Gotcha.
And when I can get the distance I want up close, I'm probably the first thing I'm going to do is just scream at him with a challenge bugle. Okay. If he bugles back at me, we're going to have a bugling contest. We're going to keep going back and forth. If he's hung up on me and I'm having a little problem with him coming in, I'm going to get me a big stick and I'm going to go to banging stuff. I'm going to rake and knock stuff around.
Just making it sound like he's hooking trees and throwing a fit.
Yes, sir. And, a lot of times he'll bugle back at just the sound of you raking. You're trying to get him fired up to where he drops at. They'll come to a bugle, I think, better than a cow call. They're not as alert. When you call him in with a cow call, they're coming in looking.
He's looking for that cow.
He's looking for that cow. If he's coming to a fight, he's already worked up. He's coming in looking for that bull that he's going to whip. And he's not as cautious. So I'll try to kill him with a bugle first.
So I guess let me rephrase the question just a little bit. I may not have asked that right. So that is awesome information, and I'm glad you said that, because I was going into that next.
Yeah.
If you're not out there on the mountain, you're just a bird flying around. Okay. And what is that elk doing? That bull at, say, from right before daylight, work through the day. Tell me what does that bull's schedule look like?
Okay. It depends on the time of the year.
During the rut. September.
Hot during the rut, he's going to be, if he's a big bull, he's going to have cows.
Okay.
Okay. And there probably have been down low. There again, if you look at those topos, you're going to see that maybe there's a big open meadow on the side of that mountain. Well, they went there, and they probably some water there close.
And that's going to be before daylight, before the sun comes up.
They've been down there all night.
Gotcha.
And they've been feeding and watering, and he's been chasing them around, and he's just a follower.
Yeah.
He doesn't round them up and head them out. Okay, he's a follower. So he's doing all of that, and it starts to break day with that old bell cow. Well, that's what I call her.
Mm-hmm.
She starts on up. We're headed to bed now. We've been down here all night. Let's go. Let's start moving up. So when you hear him, he's generally, when they're walking or moving, going to bed, he's bugling every step of the way.
Because he thinks he's corralling them, don't he?
Yeah. Well, he's behind them, but he's bugling. Now, if they're down there and they're all feeding and everything, and one gets off way over here, he'll go out there and get her. And you get back over here with the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when they're going to bed after daylight, they're headed up. Okay? And what you're going to have to try to do, hopefully they're feeding along the way and slowing down where you can get up to them. Okay? And a lot of guys will try to top out and wait on them, but that's a tricky deal with the thermals, because your thermals are going down early. About 9:30, when that sun hits those mountainsides, it's going to start swirling and then change and go up. Okay? So, and you got to really be careful with drainages. What'll happen, it's coming down in the morning. You can stand in a drain early in the morning and feel that steady breeze hitting you in the face. It's definite. You will feel it. But after about 9:30, when that sun has popped out and it starts warming up, in those drains, it'll start swirling. You know, you sit there and you look at that, you might blow that pupper and it'll actually do a circle. So you're really pushing it on your thermals when you're getting up that late in the morning. So you need to try to crowd on in there on him early while you got the thermals in your favor. Close the distance, get as close as you can, and hit him with that. Now, if you're close, and even though he's got a bunch of cows, he may come on in on you. You know, he don't want you there. The thing that happens is that old cow will take off, and he's looking at you. He's wanting to go down there and fight you, but he's looking at his cows, and he goes on with them.
Yeah.
And I think in my first podcast, I told you what I'll do is I try to follow him, and if he'll give me a break, I'll try to slip in on him and kill him or get the shot. And if I can't, that's a really touchy cat and mouse game. If it's getting late in the morning, I'll back off and listen to him. And when he stops bugling, they're getting close to bedding. Then I'll end up back there off to one side. I'll end up back there late I mark it with my GPS. I end up back there late in the evening. You know, I'll be there 3 or 4 o'clock really, but I'm off to one side because the thermals are going up. I don't want it going up to them, so I'm off to one side. And then when I hear him get up out of his bed up in there and he bugles and the thermals start down, you got about a 45-minute area there that you're going to have, you know, to get him in. Then I'll move in and try to get, when those thermals change, I'll try to get right under him. Now, you got the way they're going. You got the thermals in your favor. They're wanting to go down in water. That's where the water's at. And they're thirsty. The whole herd's thirsty. And they're hungry. They've been laid up all day. Now you're in his way.
Yeah.
You have flipped the deal. Now we're going to play.
So you're not running. I was thinking that just by the very limited information I knew watching elk hunting shows and stuff like that, I was thinking you were out there chasing them. But what you're telling me throughout the day, but you're telling me that daylight, shortly after daylight, when they start working their way back up, and at some point mid-morning when they actually bed down, they're for the most part, they're there for the day, and they're bedding down, and they ain't getting up moving a whole lot.
Now it may be a long way up there to where they're bedding.
Okay.
So I am chasing them to that extent. I'm crowding in on him, trying to get him to turn around and give me a chance,
Gotcha.
you know. So yeah, I'm trying to stay with them and bugling, and we're you could call it, that's a chase.
Yeah. So, but once they bed down, when he stops bugling, and you know that, all right, he's right there, they ain't making any racket, they bedded down, you just mark it on your pin. There's nothing else you could do until they start moving again that afternoon.
There's nothing else you can do except if you're down to the last day or two of your hunt and you don't want to leave any gas in the tank, okay, you're fixing to go home and you got a day left, then that's when you pack something a little more than what I'm carrying and you go in there and hunt all day. And the way you do that, now I learned this from an old-time outfitter, okay? You got good questions. What you're going to do is you're going to get up in there where a bunch of elk have been bedding, where you've heard them before, or you followed one up like we did, and you're going to get in there and you're going to top out. Okay, thermals are going up. Okay,
Topping out, you're referring to
I'm
you're
talking
above
about on top of the ridge.
Okay, you're on top of the ridge,
I'm
not
on
just
top,
above the
I'm
elk.
on top of the ridge. That's where most of them are going to bed. That's where it actually levels out. There's some benches that they'll bed in, but that's pretty close to the top.
Gotcha.
So I'm on top, and I'll go, depending on the sign, I'm looking at elk tracks and rubs and stuff. I'll go 300 to 400 yards, and we're going to hunt all day. And what I'll do is we'll get set up in a good spot. A couple of times, just 2 or 3 times. reach up and break a limb. Roll a rock, take a rock and just throw it and stay real quiet. And what'll happen is he'll come in quiet. He'll just come walking in to investigate that cow. Okay? Now, you have to be very patient to hunt like that. Okay? So a lot of times people will give up and they'll, let's go, he ain't coming. And all of a sudden they just run the bull. There he goes running. He was there. He was coming in. So be patient doing that. But keep working all day. Just keep moving. Move 200 or 300 yards as quiet as you can. Get you a good setup. Break a limb. Reach up and just snap a limb. They want to hear a little racket. I do that calling. I'll pick up a big rock and just roll it down the hill. They want to hear, they're noisy. They want to hear some movement.
Yeah. That's what I do when I'm turkey hunting.
So
never just hit the call.
So if you're getting down the last day, that's a good trick.
How often do you do that?
All day.
No, I mean, but like intervals. I'm going to call. I'm going to hit that little hot mama call, break a limb, roll a little rock, and I'm going to sit there as still as I can.
I may sit there 30 to 45 minutes.
Before you do it again or before you get up and move?
Before I get up and move. I won't sit there and just go,
Right.
No, I don't do that.
But you're not going to sit there, hit a cow call, snap a little branch, roll a little rock, sit there for 45 minutes, and then do it again in that same spot. You're going to pick up and move a couple hundred yards closer in.
The next time I do it, I have moved 200 or 300. I feel like I covered where he could hear.
Yeah.
He should have made a move come in. And sometimes if you're doing that, you'll actually get a bugle up in the day like that. Now, and that means he's bedded. He'll probably answer you from his bed. If you've got a buddy with you, he can stay there. If he can make him bugle, you can slip in on him. I did that in a rain shower one day. I said, JR, I said, he's bugling and he's in his bed. It's up in the morning. I said, make him bugle every once in a while if you can. And I started going in on him, and I would literally take a step and with my binoculars look really, really good, and I'd take another step. Now, we're talking an hour and a half.
Yeah. How much distance did you cover in that hour and a half?
Probably 100 yards.
So nothing.
Nothing, I'm telling you. And finally I found him. Well, the good thing was he was bedded with his back to me, his head pointing forward. So I had him in a good spot. I got up to within 43 yards. It's a light drizzle. I put my rangefinder on him, 43 yards. So I said, okay, I'm going to gap my 50 and my 40, and I'm going to pinwheel him right. I've been shooting good. So I did that, and what messed me up was when the bow went off, it was a ball of water. That bow was soaking wet. I should have added 5 yards to it. I went right under him. Okay, not the end of the story. The bow is now clean. I shot it. He jumps up, I'm left-handed. He jumps up and runs to the right and stops to look back. Remember I told you they'll stop? He stopped and looked back. I said, he's 50 yards. By the time he stopped, my pin settled on him. The bow went off good, and I killed him. 370.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
370. Man, I'm telling you, it's just.
I bet your dreams, I see the hair standing up on your, I bet your dreams are amazing. That your memories and the stuff you have, man, I wish.
I can look at every, I've been fortunate to kill a bunch of them, but I can look at every one of them and remember the story.
So what are you at? So last year when we did the podcast, I don't even remember. I should have looked to see what episode number that was. If you have not listened to part one, or I say part one, the first time Mr. Kenny was on, you need to go back and check it out. It's unreal. But at the time, you were what, like, I'm not even going to remember the number. What are you at now? How many elk hunts have you been on versus how many elk have you taken?
I don't really care. The numbers are not important. I just want to be there and have a good hunt.
For sure. But the success rate is what
I've actually killed 54 and 57 years.
54 and 57 years. That's insane.
Yeah. But it's like right now, I spent all day yesterday in my garage. It's 100 degrees, making a pile. Did I forget? I've got a list. I started bringing that list with me, but I said, "Is that there? Is that there?" I get up in the morning and I play it through my head. Okay, my clothes. I'm putting my belt on. I've got my GPS. I play all of that through my thinking to where I don't leave something in Monroe. Okay, I've got it all there. And I look at that list a bunch before I go out there.
So speaking of clothes, what are you wearing out there? Like what are you packing?
A light jacket is good in the mornings early. You're going to take it off pretty quick. I wear a long sleeve T-shirt, just regular 6
just
pocket.
really light pants because it's gonna warm.
You're gonna be
up.
walking a lot. In the morning time there, I've checked it. I've walked 6-7 miles in the morning hunt.
Yeah.
So you don't want to overload yourself,
right?
And but you want to have enough, to, and you can tie that jacket to something around your waist or to the river.
Will you take you a slicker suit out there with you too?
Depends on the way. I've got, we got technology that'll, my Cirrus, my radio, my truck sitting there, I can look at the weather and pretty well tell. Most of the time it's going to be an evening blow up, You'll get an evening thunder shower, and it won't be much. I back up under a little old spruce bush a lot of times, and it's gone in a few minutes. Looks terrible. If you see that in Louisiana, you'd run.
Yeah.
But they'll look terrible, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
So
pack light.
Just you got to think about, I'm going to be hunting 9 days, or I'm going to be hunting 5 days, or 7, or whatever you're going to hunt, and you want to try to avoid burnout. There's no way we can here where we live get ready for that country totally. You give yourself a couple of days if you can to get out there and acclimate, and don't be climbing a mountain and doing all that. Drink plenty of water on your way out there, and hopefully you're in pretty good condition, and when you get there, relax a little bit. It's hard to do. People get excited. They're in the mountains. Boy, it's beautiful. Let's go see about, It's hard to do, but you have to, because you don't want to. I've been sitting around a campfire before, and it'd be a new person there in camp, and I can see it in their eyes. They've been there 3 or 4 days. The new is wore off. They're staring at that campfire, and they're not going to be there long. They're done.
Wore out.
They're done.
Yeah.
What I tell people is, if you get to that point, stay in camp one day. You're still there. Eat you a big breakfast, shoot your bow, get your equipment kind of lined up a little better, and rest a day, and then go shoot you an elk the next morning. Don't leave. You're a whole year, especially on a tag like you got. My goodness, man. But I'm going to tell you, elk hunting is still elk hunting. I'll applaud a person that kills a cow. They're a big, tough animal.
Tough animal to get.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I know you are.
Look, anytime you live here and I live here, anytime you want to call me and ask me some questions, I don't know it all. I'm just a hunter, okay? But I've got 57 years of experience. I can tell you some things that you don't want to do to mess your hunt up, and hopefully we try to avoid that to where you can go out and harvest an animal, have a great hunt. You can have a great hunt without harvesting an animal. I don't have to harvest an animal, but it's in my genes. I want to,
Man,
I've shot my bow. I've done everything I know to do, but it's the whole deal too. It's the being there and being in good shape and eating food, good food. I pre-cook my food. I'll start that next month. And I boil bag it, and that way I don't have to cook when I get to camp that night.
You just have it all. You just dehydrate every bit of it.
Yeah.
There's I wish I had him with me, but there's a guy, Mamoose. but it's the dude in Farmerville. He does all of that, but they are delicious. The dehydrated meals.
Oh, really?
Michael and Richard know him, but the place
they're generally pretty expensive, and I'm afraid of pouring water in a sack. I know what I cook.
Yeah, I want to look this dude up real quick just to see, and I'll tell you. Let's see, Camp Kitchen. Here we go. Mamoo's Camp Kitchen, MAMOOS, made right there in Farmerville. Let me tell you something. This is what they look like. You can kind of see it's kind of dark right there, but it's just a black bag.
You're gonna heat water and pour in there.
Same way you do with all your other ones. You just heat water. It's dehydrated. Water poured in there.
Now, if I'm on a trip on a horse back in there, or I've had to walk a long way with a pack on, with a thing, with my tent on my back, and I can see where that'd be a must.
Let me tell you something. Those right there, we did a video a little while back, and me and Greg Hicks, he made some for us, and we had the jambalaya, had some kind of like shrimp pasta maybe, or something. I don't remember what all we had, but dude, let me tell you,
it's good.
It's as good as going to a catering event and getting something.
To look into that.
I'm telling you, and the ingredients he uses, they're top tier. But he has a catering business, and he did this as a backcountry thing while he was in Kansas or something like that, deer hunting, I think was the story. Yeah. And dude, I'm telling you, they are fine.
You drew Kansas?
Well, get a landowner tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even put in for the draw this year. I typically do. Typically, I'll put in. We have some lease ground, that way I can go and hunt that, but.
Getting any pictures?
We are. Matter of fact, today's Monday. Tomorrow, our Wise Eye podcast will drop. So the Wise Eye cameras, you see that I posted that? Mm-hmm. Except so, do you know anything about them?
No, I don't.
Dude, let me tell you something. Them things, they are light years ahead of some of the other cameras that I've used in the past.
Tell me the name one more time.
Wise Eye.
Wise Eye.
Like wisdom. Wise Eyes. One word. WISE. EYE, Wise Eye. But dude, they will help go and pattern your deer. But I'll pull it up and I'll show it to you. You can go. Let's see. So I'm gonna go to filter. I'm just gonna pick a deer called wide split. It's just a big. I'll show you a picture of him in a second. Just a big, mature, he looks like he weighs 500 pounds. He's huge. And he's not. He ain't nowhere near that big, but just big. He's wide. He's 20 plus inches wide. Short tines, watched him for several years, but short tines. But he's got a split. So just changed his name to Wide Split this year. Something easy.
Well, you want to wrap it up, and then we'll look at deer pictures.
I'm going to do a little plug for this app real quick. You'll go to it and look and see, and that's all the information. I'll show you more about it after, but it'll show you on the temperature that he moves, on which camera, and then with the wind speed, the wind direction, the humidity, the wind, the moon phase.
A lot of information.
It's only app that'll do that. So yeah, wow. It's pretty awesome. We got those at the store.
Wise Eye,
and they're incredible.
You guys really and truly, get your equipment and go get it right now. Don't wait till the last minute, and shoot your bow and practice and be ready for when it comes, and without going down to a spotted dog. Those guys are the best in the world. They tune and work on my equipment, but don't wait till the last minute. Get on down there and do it now.
Yeah. People don't realize how important it is to go get something checked out. We're doing the St. Jude's raffle so my Hoyt, that RX9 Ultra that I say mine, but our demo bow we do all the marketing with. That's why I hunted with this past year. Well, we're giving that for the St. Jude's raffle, which will be announcing very soon. Been able to sell tickets and all that, so it's going to be super cool. But that's the bow I got a couple weeks ago. And that's that Lift X, and it shoots great. But
I've read some great reviews on that bow.
Shoots good. Say this. I don't think they ever made a bow that holds at a long distance that holds like that RX9 Ultra does. That thing, it's like that pin. It doesn't.
Man.
Oh, it's insane. It's wild. But yeah, that bow we went. Michael, he set it up for me, and we got it ready to go. And I mean, dude, it wasn't as much as I shot it. It wasn't but a week, and it was tearing in the paper. And and that's nothing wrong with the bow. It's just once you get a brand new bow that's hardly never been shot, and you start shooting it, and then you go and you put it inside your house at 68, 69 degrees. Then you take it outside, and it's outside for 2 hours while you're shooting when it's 95 degrees. That bow's going to move and do some few things.
I say the gremlins get it.
The gremlins get it, baby. The old weather gremlins, they get it. But you need to get your bow. Just because you got it checked on in the spring or after deer season, that does not mean that you're good to go for season.
No. And they'll look it over, and you may need some strings.
Yeah.
You may you may have a module fixing to come loose. You may have a splinter that's splintering
that you don't know about.
Now's the time to please go attend to all of that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if they haven't gone yet, they're not too late to go. You can take it up there anytime. But like strings, ordering gas strings for it, they're not 4 or 5 days on order. Right. They're 3 weeks right now.
Right.
Like you ordered it today, it's gonna be 3 weeks before they
Last
come in.
week I ordered a new set of strings for a bow. I've got 3 bows, and I ordered a new set of strings, and Michael told me, he said, it's 3 weeks.
Yep.
But I've got 2 that are spot on.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a bind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go see John Ann and get in shape, man.
Look, I told you I was going to try to go here. I was a guest on another podcast this morning before I came here. And so I did that. And my plan was to go to the gym afterwards, get some lunch and come right here. And it ran late. And so I didn't. So I'm about to go there now.
That overrides into the deer hunt to where you can scout your deer and climb up there and hang a lock. You're in good shape and you feel better. Even after you come back from the elk hunt, you're in great shape.
Ready to go. Just keeping it and sticking with it.
Man, I appreciate you having me in here, and hopefully I saved somebody some heartache down the road.
You did. Even if I'm the only one, which I'm not, I'm telling you, I'm going to go back and listen to this one and the first episode you came on many, many times. So, well, dude, thank you for coming on. I certainly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Well, my pleasure.
All right, everybody, check out Spotted Dog Sporting Goods for all of your hunting and fishing needs. We got all kinds of things that you need for this season. But again, it's summer's about over. Kids just about to be going back to school. It's about time for you to be hitting the woods. And so check us out, SpottedDogSportingGoods.com, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.